Welcome back. This is the second part of the series of videos in regard to the development of the character of a champion. Last time, I focused on talking about the importance of becoming a student of the game, a real student of the game. So you really know what's going on behind everything that your coaches are teaching you. Today, I want to focus on something that I mentioned, which is the importance of knowing exactly what you're going to be accomplishing when you go to the court to practice, to train. If you don't know the principles behind, it doesn't matter how good your goal is, whatever you want to accomplish, because you get lost in the process. It happens to a lot of players. But when you really understand, following the instructions of the previous email, what you need to be accomplishing to improve your averages in all aspects of your game, because you need to focus in every single aspect of your game every day, physical, technical, strategic, mental, then you write down something really specific that you want to improve. Another mistake that many players make is that they try to accomplish something too big at once, in one day. And they complain later on that being disappointed and frustrated that they couldn't do it. The key is that you focus on something really specific, something that you can accomplish that is challenging, and that you know how to accomplish that. So the goal has to be divided in two parts: what you want to accomplish and how you want to accomplish that, based on the principles that you have learned from your coaches that is behind whatever you want to attain, to improve. So that's one part. And you need to write it down, and I explain this in the books. You need to write it down like it's already meta complete. Not in the future terms, you need to write it down in the present tense, continuous present tense. Let me use an example. You want to improve your consistency. That's a big thing, and it's extremely important. And to improve consistency, there are many different things you need to learn and to understand the principle behind. So let's say you say what you want to focus on one particular thing to be able to put more spin on the ball. And then right there in that detail, there are many things you need to learn to actually do that correctly. So let's say you said one of the things I need to do is to put more spin on the ball. Obviously, to do that, that's the what. Okay, it's part of the what. I want to increase my consistency, and then the part of the how is I want to put more spin. But then now it comes the details. How do you produce more spin? And now by checking your notes and asking questions to your coaches every time you're learning these things, you know exactly what you need to do to produce more spin. For instance, get into the ball quickly, get in there to set up, tuning your shoulders, using your legs, rotation of your hips, contact point, the position of the racket by the time you contact the ball. There are many things that you want to focus on, one little detail that your coaches have been telling you over and over again that you're not doing, so you improve on that area. Now you go there and put 100% effort, and you are constantly reviewing in your mind whether or not you're doing the right things, maintaining the right attitude, because here is where it is extremely important that you realize that if you focus on that and you are all frustrated over there, when you're not doing it, you are creating the wrong habits. And it doesn't matter that perhaps you improve and put more spin, but if in the process you're creating a lot of negativity, you're creating what I call a mental virus, like having a virus in the computer. Okay? So it's very important that the attitude is an attitude of somebody that realizes that it takes time and works, staying calm, staying focused, with the right kind of body language, with self-encouragement, saying positive words to yourself, like having your own internal cheerleader inside your head. Okay? and then monitoring the details that you're supposed to be mastering at that moment when you are in practice. Then after practice, it's very important that in a very objective way, okay, being really honest about what you did and what you accomplished, you evaluate yourself. You see, when you start evaluating yourself based on a criteria that is a solid criteria based on principle that makes sense, you are taking a huge step forward to be able to make changes when necessary when you are in a match. But if you have to depend on your dad, your mom, your coach to tell you how well you did that day in practice, you're setting yourself for trouble, because now you're depending on that person when you actually are capable of doing that by yourself if you follow the steps that I have been explaining so far. When you self-evaluate, you can use a scale 1 to 10 and you say, okay, that was a 7, this is what I improved, and then the next day you continue working on it. I mentioned it yesterday that once you have a clear idea of what you want to accomplish, it's very important that you use the subconscious programming that is part of the Valverde system by using the mind lights and with the CD alpha before practice to not only have the conscious mind engaged but also the subconscious mind, which is extremely important. That will separate you from your competition. The next day you go back and you work on that goal and the other goals that you have. I'm using that one about consistency as an example, and you continue working on it and evaluating yourself every single day, maintaining that attitude of excellence on the core until you accomplish that goal to the point that you say, that's a 10. I'm mastering that. And only until then you set up another goal. Otherwise, you will do what many players do. Every day they come, if they set up goals, and then they work on that goal, it doesn't matter how well they achieve that goal, whether or not the attitude was correct or not, and next day they start with a different goal. In other words, they are creating little lagoons in the development process, and now later on they complain that somehow that they work on is not solid. It doesn't show up in matches, and the reason is because they're jumping from one goal to another without actually mastering that goal that they set up for themselves. Okay, so focus on that is extremely important. Next time I will be talking about how this interesting process, okay, can be followed also in preparation for matches. Because when you create a solid routine that incorporates all the elements of performance, physical, technical, strategic, and mental, when you are ready to compete, you implement the same routine, the same sequence, and that gives you a lot of power to actually put in practice what you're working on. Until next time, thank you.